Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining our webinar today. Just to let you know that we will be recording this session. So my name's Scott Jenkins, and I'm going to be kicking off by providing you with a brief overview and an introduction into m-hance for those attendees that are not currently working with us, and just to update our current customers on some of the great work that we're doing. Then I'm going to be handing over to our colleague Suneel Buggal from ClickDimensions, who will be taking you through some of the exciting new features that have recently been released, including intelligent dashboards and social engagement. And then we'll have a bit of time at the end for questions, but do feel free to put questions in the chat as we go, and we'll keep an eye on those and pick them up. So in terms of our culture, m-hance have several initiatives that we run. The first of those is the Be Good, Do Good initiative, which enables each m-hance employee to volunteer 1 day per month with the charity of their choice. And this provides m-hance staff with first-hand experience of some of the challenges and some of the rewards of working within a charity. Another initiative that we run is it was set up by m-hance's chief executive Alan Moody in direct response to support charities during the COVID-19 lockdown. So we have a dedicated website and social media channels that encourage people to donate the cost of their haircut to the charity of their choice, or they can donate to a central fund which we manage and is benefiting many charities. We have sort of ongoing engagement and face-to-face events as well. So we help our customers to gain additional insight and drive further value from their technology investments. So such as the webinar today, lots of events where we like to help customers to identify opportunities to work more efficiently and, as I say, gain more insight and value therefore from their technology investments. So in terms of our experience, we do a lot of work within the not-for-profit sector. So as you can see on this slide, we're helping organisations, both large and small, to solve business problems through technology. And we do this by leveraging Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform and Azure services from Microsoft, as well as market-leading products such as ClickDimensions, to design, build and support business critical applications for our customers. For example, in the not-for-profit sector, we're helping organisations like the Motor Neurons Disease Association to manage volunteers in the field and to improve supporter engagement, and lots more. We're helping public sector organisations such as the Department for Education and the Parliamentary Health Service Ombudsman to improve and automate processes around case management, tasks and activities. And we're also helping commercial customers and large commercial organisations to provide consistent and unique experiences to their customers by migrating their ERP and CRM systems to the cloud. So that's just a brief introduction to m-hance and what we do. And with that, I'm going to hand you over to Suneel, who's going to do the next part and demonstrate the intelligent dashboard and social engagement features. Over to you, Suneel.
Cheers, Scott. I'm going to assume you can see my screen, which should be a PowerPoint slide. If you can't, just let me know. So, hey everyone, thanks. Yeah, we got it, cool. So thanks for joining everyone. So my name is Suneel. I'm a pre-sales consultant here at ClickDimensions. And today I'll be showing you our intelligent dashboards and our social media solution. So this is what we're going to be covering for this portion. I'll start by explaining what intelligent dashboards are. I'll then explain what problems these solve for businesses. We'll touch on how these work technically as well, but we will keep the technicalities down to a minimum. I'll then give a quick demonstration of the solution, and we'll round off with a recap. And by then you'll understand the value of the intelligent dashboards. So what are these intelligent dashboards? I mean, the simplest way I can explain this is it's what we call a true turnkey solution. So what this means is once you subscribe, it's switched on just like a car. You'll be given access to 12 pre-configured reports or dashboards, which cover all the important marketing KPIs that you'll need. So we will actually get these up, running, built and configured for you, so you can just consume the reports while we do all the heavy lifting. So this isn't designed to be a full technical business intelligence solution, and the intelligent dashboard is designed to be purpose-built for the marketer. We're aware that BI solutions can be very time consuming and expensive to acquire and implement. So this is far from that. We're talking within 24 hours, you'll get access. But what problems are these dashboards or reports solving for our businesses? Well, first of all, if we find that marketing are working in silos, separate from each other, we're going to be able to break these silos down to enable teams to work together. We can improve data visibility across organizations as well, so that everyone is working from the same data set at the same time. These dashboards will enable us to prove the ROI, and in your cases, maybe it will be like memberships or donation amounts, etc., of all marketing activities, so that we can, show leadership stakeholders how much profit or non-profit we're making for the business. So we can start to become a more proactive workforce as well through the use of intelligent dashboards, where we're going to be able to identify trends in near real time so we can make quicker decisions. And lastly, by improving team collaboration, of course, then we're going to get more ideas as a team, right? Great ideas while working more efficiently together. So before we dive into the solution, we'll just very quickly address the technical how. So simply put, again, this is a marketing analytics platform, which is of course then marketing centric, and purpose built for the marketer. So therefore, the analytics which we report on relies on connectors to common marketing data sources, which you can see highlighted in yellow on the left-hand side. So currently we're able to pull in data from the ClickDimensions Marketing Cloud, Microsoft Dynamics, Google Analytics, Google Ads, and Microsoft Ads if you use it. So these dashboards will extract and harmonize this information, and it will then present the information with very, very easy to interpret graphs and charts, which are based on industry best practice. So a massive amount of hours have been spent working, side by side with top marketing leaders to define, which are the most useful and important industry KPIs. And just as an FYI, in this initial version, there are no customization features. It is a template-based configuration. So therefore, these dashboards are applicable to every business, with a marketing function. And finally, we do have this collaboration layer, which is embedded as well, which will allow, the typical marketer to communicate with his or her peers on each KPI that we see. So in summary, the slide is just basically showing how we're able to bring different data tools and marketing teams together in one single place. All right, so I think we've done a good job of setting the scene, and we've painted a pretty good picture. Let me show you what the intelligent dashboard solution looks like. I'm just dragging on a web browser, and I'll start off at the login page. So first of all, there are three ways in which we can access intelligent dashboards. The first is directly from within Microsoft Dynamics. It will direct you, into intelligent dashboards where you will already be logged in, and single sign-on will ensure that the user is valid and will determine which content in intelligent dashboards the user will have access to. The second method is through a direct login via a web browser, as you can see on my screen. And the third option is via a mobile device. So we do have a mobile app which is available to download from both Android and Apple stores, and will allow the user to have the same experience that I'm going to demonstrate to you today. So it's optimized for mobile. And you can find the app by searching for Sweet Spot, and when you do, you can look for the logo that you see here. And just as an FYI, if you are logging in via a web browser or the mobile app, it doesn't require a Microsoft Dynamics seat license. So if there are users in the organization that don't have access to or do not use Dynamics, they can still have visibility of the data provided by these dashboards. And during the demo, I'll even show you how we can push data out to various individuals so that they wouldn't even need to log in, if they just needed to consume and have visibility of the information. And lastly, there is an unlimited user model as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. All right, so I've just logged in and we're starting off on the home page. And you can see now I have immediate access to all 12 pre-built dashboards. So right away, we can see how we're able to consolidate the entire marketing entity into one place, right? So for example, you can see we have like web statistic information, paid advertising information, and various campaign type information. So I spoke about this on the slides, breaking down the different silos. So this is how we do it. So the various marketing functions, as you can see, can have complete visibility into all activities that are happening. Just to go over the basic navigation features, you can see that we have a drop down of the various dashboards that we can jump between at any time. We have a date range specifier, which can compare data with a previous period, what we call a KPI variation date. We have exporting capabilities, which we'll look at in just a minute. And the menu bar in the corner, we have a few more options here, just an admin section to create users and to provision accounts, etc. There's a help page and a scheduled export button, which we'll look at in just a few minutes as well. And lastly, I'll just draw your attention to this notification stream as well. So this is used to help us keep on top of any projects and on top of any communication that takes place in this solution as well. So as you can see so far, very streamlined and very easy to use. So let's dive into one of these reports. Okay. So before we look at any of the metrics and visuals, let's quickly look at the ways in which we can slice and dice the information. So you can see at the top, we have unique filters for each dashboard that we're looking at. So in this case, we're looking at a Google Analytics dashboard, and you can see we have options to filter by like source and Google campaign. I just refreshed this. Here we go, source and Google campaign and device. Just underneath these filters, we have various tabs sectioning the data out for easy consumption. We'll take a look at these in just a second. So if we start to explore the data then, so what can we see? So as I scroll through, you can see on this overview tab, we're providing all the intel from GA on a bunch of key metrics and data points, such as visits and visitor type, bounce rate, gender, age, as I scroll down, region as well. If we click into sources at the top, you can see we're getting more granular with the information here. So this page focuses on channel performance. And as I scroll through again, you can see very easy to interpret bar graphs and line charts, pie charts and lists. Everything's very consumable. And if I click on the content tab, we're now at the page level. So one beneficial feature I'd like to point out are these information boxes. So if I just click on this one here, you can see we get this pop-up. And what we're doing here is we're explaining the data to the user. We're explaining why it's important and what this information means. So these information boxes exist for the hundreds of visuals we have across all dashboards. So very, very useful in helping the marketer make sense of the data. So I'm just going to rewind back to the overview page and let's dive into the data some more. So you can see we also have these menu icons next to every key metric and visual. And by clicking on one, we have various options. I can define a goal. So, where we had, let's just say 1,200 visits, I can say, well, let's set a goal of maybe 1,500 visits, and we can assign a date range. But if I click into detail, you can see we have a much more granular view, and there's a few things that we can do from here as well. So we'll have the option to export the detailed information, either a CSV or a PDF. So great if you need to pull something quickly out for a meeting, or if you wanted to take the raw data and feed it into another system, you have these options. Or perhaps something more beneficial is this messages stream that we can click on. So as you can see, there's space here to really help when it comes to bridging various teams together. You can instantly write a message, add any supporting documentation, pin your comment to a date, and even mention specific users as well. And what's great about this is, users of intelligent dashboards can choose how they wish to receive notifications. Yes, if you have somebody that's quite hands-on, in the settings, maybe they want to enable like a text notification or an email or an in-app notification. If you have someone that puts, quite hands-off, you don't have to receive any notifications. So this is really good because it's going to help marketing, work from the same data set at the same time. It will improve collaboration and general efficiencies. There's also this goal history as well. So if we did set any goals, you will see what goals we've set ourselves as well. Okay, so if I click out of this for just a second and let's look at our exporting capabilities. So you can see here by clicking on the export button, all we need to do is choose the format, choose any tabs that we're interested in, and then we can mention a user or put in an external email address. If I click save, then within a few minutes an email will go out. But we can streamline this process even further as well by scheduling an export. So for example, if we know management requires a certain report, on a weekly, monthly or quarterly cadence, we can easily set this up. And I'll show you just how easy it is to do so. I click into scheduled exports. I can say schedule now. I'll give this one a name. So maybe I'll call this the monthly web stats reports. And then it's just a case of choosing the dashboard that you're interested in with any tabs. And you can choose the period of time. So I can say, well, okay, how about every month you report on the month to date versus the previous month. So I can understand if I'm going up or down in trend. And then you'll just choose a date range, a time, whatever time zone you're in, and a start date. You put in emails and you'll click save. Okay, so now we've got all the features and functions out the way. Let's look at some additional dashboards. So this sales funnel dashboard is great to assess, the quality of our customer nurturing and how it relates to, donations or memberships in your case. And what's great about this one is it demonstrates that the intelligent dashboards are able to take Dynamics 365, configuration and report building out of the equation, because configuring Dynamics to report on this information can be time consuming and tricky, if we don't have the know-how to capture this information accurately. And again, once it's stood up in intelligent dashboards, we can send this out, increase visibility, people can get reports. So much time and effort is being saved, which can then be put back into core marketing activities. So this dashboard, as I scroll, you can see includes metrics such as like close rate, win rate, deal size, and more. There's a nice funnel visual below. If I click into the sources tab, we can of course see where the leads came from as well. So where the opportunities have been coming from. So it'll be set up within 24 hours. We have this Dynamics campaign performance dashboard as well. So as I scroll through from the filters, we can sift between any campaign that we're interested in. We're able to analyze specific campaigns that we're running individually as well. There's this campaign automation dashboard here. And with this dashboard, we're able to see how engaged our campaigns are. And just imagine we can really bring this to life even more once we start defining those goals, because goal setting is going to help to really encourage the promotion of the campaigns we've spent time creating. The goal notifications that we'll receive will hold us accountable, right, to ensure that we're doing what we can in order to gain those participants for the funnels that we're building. So as I scroll through here, we can see metrics around active participants, top campaigns by engagement, some great participant metrics, detailed by day, and loads more. And the last one I'll just show you quickly. I think you get the point by now. And these dashboards, they're very varied. You can see with email marketing, from these filters, we have a wealth of ways to slice the data. And I'll just scroll through here so you can see that all these important KPIs are the ones that marketers will care about, all in one place. And again, a nice funnel visual below. To recreate these dashboards yourself manually, it will take a lot of time. So the intelligent dashboards is a great value add in that sense. Your reporting will be completely taken care of. All right. So just a quick recap on what we've seen. I know I've just showed you a lot in a short space of time, but my goal was to just whet your appetite, right? So if you did want to have a further look or really get into the weeds of the solution, just reach out and we can have further sessions. So just to recap, we know the intelligent dashboards can help overcome these common problems, and we very briefly just saw the how. But in doing so, what impact will this have on our organizations? So I'm just going to finish off the intelligent dashboards part of the webinar with just this last slide, just to provide some more food for thought and to hopefully bring the value of this solution to life a little bit more. So as we know, silos cut off clear communication between different business units. People can fall easily into only communicating with those directly around them. So silos also result in overlapping functions, which will then impact, an increase in costs and duplicated efforts and inconsistent decisions. When it comes to knowledge retention, enormous amounts of useful information is being trapped in information silos, such as email inboxes. So we've seen how intelligent dashboards can increase interactions between employees, which can in turn increase like trust levels and encourage more effective collaboration and communication. When it comes to improving visibility, having access to all the data you need improves high-level views of future workloads as well. And by better understanding resource requirements, businesses will have the ability to swiftly assess the impact, produced by current and future campaigns. When it comes to risk, being able to assess the appropriate campaign data as and when you need it allows you to adjust the campaign accordingly. So this helps to keep campaigns on time and within budget. The data visibility reduces the amount of corrective action that needs to be taken. When it comes to proving the return on the investment, essentially it's all about just measuring our success over time, so we can make better future decisions. And then lastly, we're talking about becoming a more proactive workforce. Will be less likely to get caught off guard then, right? And trying to solve a problem that a campaign had after the fact is wasteful, of course, of time and money specifically. When it comes to innovations, thinking ahead can help you make the most to make the moves needed to position your organization at the forefront. And proactive organizations are able to plan for and build the future and direction that they want, rather than waiting on external forces to determine which direction they should go in. And so lastly, as I wrap up this intelligent dashboard presentation, by improving team collaboration, this will lead to fully engaged workers eager to take on new projects. Studies have actually shown that employees become healthier because stress levels then decrease. So, meetings will be more proactive, we'll be able to get more done, and greater ideas will be born. So thanks everyone. So hopefully now you have a good understanding of the intelligent dashboards and the value it can bring to your organization. And again, if you wanted to find out more and have an in-depth demonstration, please get in touch. I'll be curious to understand more about your requirements and needs and about your organization. So we'll be able to map that to the intelligent dashboards. So reach out directly or drop a message, and be sure to post any questions that you have as well. And this time around, I'm going to show you our social media management platform. So we work with a partner called Octopost, who owns the solution, and this is what we're going to be covering. I'll start by explaining who Octopost are and why we prefer them. We'll go over a few typical social media management use cases that Octopost can definitely assist with and streamline. We'll look at some industry facts around social, and we'll get a better understanding as to why every business, big or small, needs a social media solution. I'll show you the platform, and then we'll tie the use cases back to business value for it to make sense, so we can make everything come full circle. So who are Octopost? So Octopost is a simple social media management platform architected for B2B and B2C companies. With Octopost, marketers can schedule large volumes of social content across multiple networks, track valuable business performance metrics, and integrate social data with their entire marketing ecosystem. So when we use the Octopost solution, we notice very clearly that there's a strong focus around managing, monitoring, and measuring social marketing activities. And as you'd imagine, they're plugged into the big five, as you can see here. So LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And lastly, in my personal opinion, you do get a lot of value out of this solution. I have a background in social media, and I've worked with some of the big SaaS players in this space. And I have to say that the Octopost solution is a well-balanced one, and definitely something worth considering if you're looking to build on your existing social media strategy. Okay, so let's take a look at some common social media management use cases. And we'll start with scheduled publishing. Now, often content creators are planning in advance and often have a need to release content at a specific date and time, even over the weekend, right? Or even at unsociable hours if we're catering for a different time zone. And they have to do this across various social platforms for many, many pieces of content. So by having the ability to schedule this is a massive value add. Social listening is a fantastic use case, great for customer feedback, getting an edge on the competition, great for identifying influencers and brand advocates, and great for general market research, diving into the opinions of your customers or consumers. Engaging with your customers now in a streamlined way is now a necessity, because organizations need to centralize all of the social media efforts in one place in order to deliver a better unified customer experience. Advocacy is bigger than ever now, so organic growth is so important, and advocacy is all about expanding the reach of your company's content. It increases trust and engagement levels, increases conversions, and grows your audience for potential remarketing campaigns, and that all important brand awareness. And lastly, marketers do some wonderful things on social for various reasons, whether it's for building brand awareness or generating leads. But analyzing the effectiveness of any campaign is a must, in order to justify the continuous investment in social. So we'll look at Octopus reports as well. Okay, so why should every business use a social media solution? So I'm going to show you some facts here pulled from the Global Web Index, and they're a leading research company for marketers around the globe. You can access this report from the URL below. But let's have a look at some of their key findings. And we'll start off with screen time. 63% of global internet users say that they're constantly connected online to social media, which is up by like 56% in the last 5 years, which is huge. So if they're not seeing or engaging with your brand during this time of being connected on social, it's safe to assume that they're seeing other brands, right? Time spent on social media, we can see an increase year on year as social media becomes a big part of everyday life. We can see a rapid increase in the first 4 years up till 2016. And now it's like sustained high levels in the last 3 years and true across the globe. 2 to 3 hours are now being spent on social media each day, which is unbelievable. Are they coming across your brand in this time? I wonder, could they see more of your brand during this time? Motivations for social media as well. So in case anybody thought that consumers were not interested in finding products to buy on social media, we're wrong. This shows that 30% across all age ranges are using social media to research and to find products to buy. And this is their primary reason for using social media. And the social path as well. This is a great piece of research. Brands are being discovered via social advertising and organic recommendations. So are we engaging with our current followers on social? We absolutely should be. And people go to social media to research brands and products, not just for staying in touch with family and posting selfies. So yeah, there's actually proof here to show that there is value in having a social media strategy. Okay, so let's look at the solution. I'm just going to pull over a web browser. And let's go ahead and dive into the publishing section. And we'll start off by talking about campaigns. So campaigns are an essential part of the Octopus solution that enables an organization to view the measurement of social posts around specific marketing activities. So every post scheduled in Octopus is assigned to a specific campaign, which we can pull from the CRM. So in order to stay organized, we can manage our social content in structured campaigns to simplify and improve analysis. Because we can organize things in this way, from a planning point of view, we can schedule large-scale content across all major social networks from one interface. So if I click into an existing campaign, and let me go ahead and click on New Post. So in this post box, you can see at the top, we're able to quickly shift between the various social channels. Once decided, I can go ahead and create the post. I can assign it to a particular campaign as well. And as you can see, I can add media, I can choose an audience, and you see I have the option to schedule the post as well. So this is a very streamlined process when you compare it to using the different social applications individually. Now, if I go ahead and click into messages, we're going to see some message assets. And these message assets that we can see are basically a library that holds all of our social content. So we can think of this as a database that saves all of the messages so that we can easily view them and access them for scheduling. The analytics tab is where we start to prove the value of a campaign that we're running. In this demo environment, unfortunately, we don't have any tracking code or real campaigns measured, but you can see how we can tie things back to a currency value there. Currency can be changed as well. So whether it be like donations, you can actually capture this. Shifting over to the calendar on the left-hand side, here you can see our full schedule, and we can hover over these posts as well. And each color that we may have will represent a different campaign. So a very good way of seeing at a glance what's posting when on every platform in every campaign. Now moving over to approvals. So users are able to send items off for approval at the point of creating a message as well. So these can be reviewed here, so we can ensure that it's only marketing approved content which is going to be allowed to be posted or scheduled. So there are options to delete, edit, or approve. We can also see who created the message on the right. We can also add any notes and loop people in by mentioning them. There's a really, really good content curation feature baked in here as well. So apart from sharing, original content, curating interesting articles from around the web is a great way to provide your audience with more valuable content. So we can quickly find content that appeals to our audience, as well as helping position us into like a thought leader. So with this, we're going to be able to find the hottest articles over the last 30 days. And if we wish to share a piece of content, we can do so from here as well. So if I can go ahead and if I just type in maybe just marketing, here's an example of all the top articles being shared across the internet. And we have the option to directly share this from within our social channel. Now, if we move into streams, this is Octopost's social listening area. And the Octopost Streams function allows you to monitor social media channels in near real time to gain an insight into what people are saying about your brand, products, or services, or your competitors. So you can see here we're pulling from various channels quite seamlessly here. And social listening gives brands an opportunity to track, analyze, and respond to conversations about them on social media. It's a crucial component of audience research. If companies are not using social media, they're often leaving a lot of great insights on the table. In fact, we might be missing out on a big piece of insight about our brand that people are actively discussing. So we want to know what people are saying about us. Our customers are telling us what they want from our brands. So this is a great way to gain those insights. The social inbox aggregates all inbound social conversations to one place for a truly engaging experience, allowing us and our team members to manage and track responses at scale across various channels. So the social inbox can be used to answer like support or sales related questions, as well as route conversations to the right representative as well. So the social inbox allows you to assign conversations to team members to allocate responsibility for handling conversations. So if I click on assign to me, you can see whenever we reply to a conversation, it will automatically be assigned to us, as well as if something was manually assigned to us. So this is where users can collaborate with each other to stay on top of ongoing conversations. Once a conversation is assigned, and if there is any communication taking place, emails and in-app notifications will be sent. So advocacy is a pretty neat feature. So an organization will be able to round out their social media strategy with this social advocacy. So we can give employees and partners this tool so that they can easily amplify their company's social media marketing efforts and expand the reach. So if I click into this board, you can see here under messages, we can see we have a wide variety of all this marketing approved content that is available to be shared by our employees and partners. So we can categorize these into topics if we wish as well. So therefore, if we have certain specific team members posting content relevant to their network, we can give content just for maybe advocates who can just consume messages in a particular topic for them. The content suggestions will allow advocates to recommend content for sharing as well, and we'll always be able to get a list of who is actually sharing our content. But on the user side, let me show you how this actually works once it's all set up. So this is the view that employees will have. So you can see on my personal homepage, here's a list of marketing approved messages that I can send straight from ClickDimensions. So by clicking on the share button, I'm able to edit the message. I can share it now, or I can schedule it. So it's very, very simple stuff. And while we're here in the user view, I'll also show you this gamification feature. This is around social sharing. So here we can make performance metrics visible to all participants just to encourage friendly competition, just to motivate employees when it comes to sharing content. So it's quite fun and just really encourages social sharing. So lastly, we'll look at the analytics section. And just to note, all these reports are exportable as well. So let's take a quick look at these individually. You can see there are a wealth of reports. So firstly, on our top level acquisition report, this will measure the effectiveness of your social marketing efforts and their impact on conversions. So for each individual campaign that we run, we're going to be able to understand from the content we posted, what the customer journey was to a donation, a conversion. We can also see engagement metrics, this report here, which I'll scroll through so you can see. We can get a report on our audience, including individual metrics, trend analysis, by network, and channel, optimal engagement time, day, and lastly, down below, the top performing content itself. The audience report assesses growth by followers and mentions, and down below in which areas as well, down to city. There's a content report, very useful because we can quickly uncover the most popular pieces of content which drove the most engagements and the top converting links. Further below, we can see the posts themselves. If we did have assignments set up, and unfortunately not in this demo environment, we can get a report to ensure that we are meeting any SLAs that you may put in place. And the advocacy report will inform us of the organization's collective employee activity when it comes to promoting the brand by sharing all of the marketing approved content. And then just lastly, I'll just let you cast your eyes over this. There are also these granular level reports as well where we can really get into the weeds. But just to bring everything full circle, again, I know I've thrown a lot at you and these last 20-25 minutes. And so just to bring everything full circle before I wrap up and I hand back over, let's talk about these use cases and what they can mean for businesses. The value of scheduled publishing. Well, consistency is your best friend when it comes to social media. Being consistent in your post frequency is really important in order to grow a social media audience. Let's say, for example, your audience knows that you post a marketing tip every week. They know you post on a reliable schedule. They'll be more likely to keep coming back over and over again. And while they're there, they might bump into some other piece of content that they'd like. Just help increasing, those conversions. The value of social listening. So this is where we can go beyond metrics. We can research the qualitative stuff, right? So for example, brands face scandals sometimes, or some serious issue may pop up. Things happen, but even one incident can cause a wave of negativity to plague your social media accounts. It's easy to ignore a couple of rude comments here and there, but it's troublesome if the negative ones seem to outweigh the positive. So that's when it's a great time to use social listening. By analyzing an incident, we can do some research to see if the rise in negative comments has actually led to like a decrease in followers or conversions or whatever metric we choose to investigate. And then we can determine whether serious measures need to be taken in response. So just think along the lines of brand protection and crisis management. And we can also discover new opportunities within social listening as well. So often your customers do the work for us, right? So when many customers start complaining about the same problem or issue, it's a sign that it's something to take note of and to run with. Increasing customer acquisition. Social media holds many opportunities for broadening your reach to prospects. After all, your followers aren't just your loyal customers, they're also people who enjoy your content. So these are the kinds of people who we should be targeting. And using social listening, we can discover the kinds of content that those who follow us, what it is they're talking about, sharing online. When it comes to customer engagement, we can absolutely decrease any ad spend that you actually have. A single person sharing or retweeting a message from your company could reach hundreds or even thousands of people for virtually no cost. Businesses can miss out on this with social media strategies that don't generate engagement, and it's a massive opportunity lost. From a loyalty point of view, for responding to customers on time with accurate information, they're not going to look elsewhere. We control the customer journey at that point, and they will become loyal. And responding to comments in the public domain, of course, is going to boost brand awareness and customer engagements. And when it comes to social and employee advocacy is the promotion of an organization by its workforce, as we've covered. So this could mean that employees share information about specific products or campaigns, or it can mean that employees share the company culture online. So this can help boost brand reputation and make recruitment easier. And there's some interesting employee advocacy statistics as well, which spell out exactly how much your brand could benefit from an employee advocacy program. Most people trust a regular employee, than a CEO. Even more people, like 65%, trust a company technical expert. So it's all about getting multiple employees to be communicating about the brand. LinkedIn also found that while only about 2% of employees reshare a company's social posts, they're responsible for 20% of overall engagement. So that's massive. And lastly, when it comes to analytics, the value of it is pretty straightforward. It's all about understanding what worked and what didn't work from our campaigns, so that we can optimize our future campaigns, which will lead to better conversions. So we can understand our audience, our competitors a lot better, so we can make our campaigns extremely laser focused and relevant going forwards. So thanks everyone. That's all I have. Thanks for sticking with me. And Scott, I'm going to hand back over to you.
Thanks, Suneel. That's great. So yeah, some great new features that will definitely help organisations and marketers, no doubt, to drive further value from their investment. I just wanted to wrap up by encouraging you to visit the m-hance website and the events page there to explore sort of further upcoming events and webinars that might be useful. And also to say, if there's anything that you've seen today on today's call that you want to learn more about, then feel free to reach out directly. And we'll wrap up by saying thank you very much for joining the call today, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.